It's only the beginning of March, but Jimmy Butler has started his dark magic, his playoff wizardry, and we have the Miami Heat with an 8-2 record over their last 10 games and quietly going up the Eastern Conference standings. Now, for the most part of the season, it was Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo that were leading the way for this Miami Heat team, taking some of the pressure off of an aging Jimmy Butler. But playoff Jimmy is back. He usually comes around the beginning of the playoffs. This year, he decided to come a little bit early, and he got a little bit of help at the deadline with Scary Terry, who is still getting acclimated. Have no fear. He will still, he's going to be back to normal Terry Rozier here in a little bit once he starts being able to hit a jump shot. They're 21st in offensive rating, 8th in defensive rating, and 6th in opponent's points per game. So typical Heat basketball, just locking you up on the defensive end and finding a way to win on the offensive side of the ball. But Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, is already back. This man is insane with the way that he can just flip a switch and boom, he's back. He's averaging 22 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and 4.8 assists on the season with 1.4 steals, so still being a two-way guy while shooting at 51% from the field. And something that hasn't been talked about at all that really needs to be talked about is he is shooting 46% from three, 2.3 attempts, but still 46% from three. His best previous three-point shooting season was 38% in 2015. His best in Miami was 35%. But this year, he is 46% from three on 2.3 attempts per game. Jimmy Butler never fails to amaze us. His last 11 games, however, he has turned it up a notch. 25, 7, 6, and 2 steals on 56% shooting from the field, 55% from three in 35 minutes, and the Heat are 9-2 over that 11-game stretch. Crazy work here from Jimmy Butler. Don't be fooled. He's still a top 10 player when the playoff comes around, but this year he's got an elite supporting cast. None of these three guys were on the roster or were healthy last year for the playoff run. Now, yes, they don't have Gabe Vincent or Max Strus anymore or Kyle Lowry, but would you rather have the three guys we just mentioned or three aging 10-point per game scorers? I mean, it's kind of an easy question there. Bam Adebayo on the year has been really solid, like we said, carrying some of the weight for Jimmy in his aging years. 21.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block, 52% from the field in 35 minutes a game for the 26-year-old. But the thing about Bam Adebayo that is so impressive is he just continues to get better and better and better. You go back and look at his stats year by year. Linear progression. Almost every single category continues to go up year after year. It's kind of crazy, to be honest, to be able to improve that much year after year after year. And then we have Tyler Herro here, who missed the 2023 playoffs. Actually, he played like 2 games and then broke his hand. He's averaging 21 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and a steal. He was actually going to come back in the finals if they really needed him to, but he didn't want to mess up, kind of the routine and everything, the flow of the team. 44% shooting from the field, 40% from three on 8 attempts for Herro this year, 35 minutes a game. Jimmy will definitely be glad to have him back. The 24-year-old is not an emerging star, but he is a really, really good player. Probably borderline all-star caliber for Herro, or a borderline all-star caliber season. And then Jaime Jaquez Jr. has been a pleasant surprise. 12.7 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 1.1 blocks this year for Jaquez. As the 18th overall pick, this is something I think we see teams do a lot more of in the NBA, is take these 4-year guys that were in college. Jaquez was in college for like 5 years, and they can come in and immediately shoot 50% from the field and score 13 points a game while playing good defense, and they can immediately be an impact. So that's the 3 guys that are helping Jimmy out the most. Real quick, before we continue on in today's video, make sure to hit that like button. We're trying to hit 100 likes on today's video. Also, hit that subscribe button. As you can see here, basically everybody that watches these videos are not subscribed, so go ahead and hit that red button. It'll really help us out in the YouTube algorithm. Also, leave us a comment down below. That'll help as well. And now let's continue on. Something that kind of scares, the rest of the NBA, if you're looking at this, in 2023, 2022, 2023, they had 5 guys averaging more than 10 points per game and abysmal offensive numbers. This year, they have 8 guys averaging 10 or more points per game. They're the 8th seed, and they have a little bit better offensive numbers. 27th offensive rating, 21st points per game. That is up a little bit. And I think once Terry Rozier gets back to normal, As a Hornet, he was averaging 23.2 points, 6.6 assists, 4 rebounds, and shot at 46% from the field. Once he gets back to normal, this Heat team is just going to get even better because that's a fourth 20-point per game scorer. In Miami, he's only averaging 14, 5.5 rebounds, and 4.3 assists, but he just adds another element to this offense of a guy that can go get his own buckets, and that's kind of what they were missing last year against the Nuggets. Yeah, they couldn't really stop him, but they couldn't score. I mean, it was bad. Terry has been horrific in Miami, sub 40% from the field, sub 25% from three. That on 5 attempts, that is not good. He's going to bounce back, though. He was phenomenal all year for Charlotte this year. And this team is much deeper than they were last year. Duncan Robinson had a bit of a revolution in his game this year. 13.3 points per game, a couple rebounds, a couple of assists. He's playing off the ball much better, playing off the bounce much better. 45% from the field, 41% from three for Duncan Robinson there on about 7 attempts. Of course, he is still the three-point marksman that he has always been. And then you got Caleb Martin. The guy that really came on in the playoffs last year. This year he's averaging about 10.5 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists in 27 minutes of action off the bench for the Heat. Yet another really good role player with Duncan, with Caleb Martin, who's also shooting at almost 40% from three. Josh Richardson, who they brought back this offseason, who had a couple of stints in Miami, and now he is back playing big-time minutes. 10 points per game, 3 rebounds, 2.5 assists for him on solid field goal percent. He's not great from three, only 35%, but 45% from the field is good. The majority of these Heat guys can really shoot it from downtown, especially with Jimmy buying into that this year. Kevin Love, 9 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists in 18 minutes, 45% shooting from the field, 35% from three for K Love. Not really, what we're used to seeing him from downtown, but yeah, maybe he can bounce back for the playoffs. And then they have the youth project here with Nikola Jovic, who quietly is having a pretty solid second season for the Heat. 6 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 16 minutes a night. And the best part is he's shooting it 45% from behind the arc on 3 attempts per game. He has shown some really good flashes this year for the Heat, such as on February 13th versus the Milwaukee Bucks, where he had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, shot at 8 of 13 from the field, and 5 of 8 from 3. We're talking about a 6'10" guy that can stretch the floor, can knock it down from beyond the arc, and can really play defense. Or he has the tools to play defense if he really wants to. So yeah, that's why I think this Heat team is... It wouldn't shock me if they, yet again, go to the NBA Finals. Jimmy Butler is already in playoff mode. He is ready to go. With that being said, though, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.